The Rotax 1500cc Fortec engine is equipped with a highly sophisticated dry sump lubrication system, which is able to prevent oil from leaking into the combustion chamber and cylinder head in case of a rollover situation. The oil tank is separated from the crankshaft at the bottom of the engine block. From there, the oil is sucked out through an oil strainer by the oil pump. It is driven by the balance shaft and maintains the proper oil pressure in the lubrication system. To ensure a constant engine temperature, the oil is cooled by an oil cooler, which is part of the closed-loop cooling system. An easy-to-change oil filter insert is used to keep the lubrication circuit clean. In case of a plugged oil filter, a bypass valve opens and allows unfiltered lubrication of the engine. To control the engine oil pressure, an oil pressure switch is located in the main oil duct. The check valve with integrated choke, located under the cylinder head sealing surface, serves two purposes. The first one is to keep enough engine oil in the cylinder head when the vehicle is not in use. The second one is to make sure the crankshaft and balance shaft bearings get sufficient oil during operation. All four crankshaft bearings and both balance shaft bearings are supplied by the main oil duct. Ducts inside the crankshaft transfer the oil to the connecting rod big end bearings. Oil spray nozzles at each cylinder are cooling the pistons and lubricate the connecting rod small ends. When the piston moves downwards, oil in the crankshaft compartment is pushed back to the oil tank. A further improvement of the Rotax 1500cc Fortec engine is that the PTO splines are lubricated by the lubrication circuit. The oil is supplied by the crankshaft. A plastic insert guides the oil from the center of the crankshaft directly to the splines. The oil leaves through radial bores, and a spiral on the outside diameter pumps the oil back to the PTO room. The oil in the cylinder head provides pressure for the maintenance-free hydraulic chain tensioner, which is placed in the engine block. Using an oil dunk system, which uses the free space around the cylinder head bolts for vertical delivery, the rocker arm shaft is filled with oil. From there, the camshaft and rocker arm bores are lubricated sufficiently. Inside the rocker arms, oil is delivered to the maintenance-free hydraulic valve play adjustment elements. Oil that is released at the bearings and rocker arms spreads over the whole cylinder head area to ensure that everything is well lubricated. The flow back from the cylinder head is done via the timing chain and through the PTO housing. Thus, the oil fog lubricates all gears. If the oil pressure exceeds a certain level, the oil pressure regulator opens and the oil flows back to the oil pump suction side. From the bottom of the PTO housing, the oil is sucked out by the suction pump, which is placed on the front side of the engine. This suction pump creates a slight depression in the PTO housing and cylinder head room, which ensures that even if the gaskets are leaking, no oil will leak out. The suction pump delivers the oil straight back into the oil tank. Before the engine blow-by is recirculated to the air intake, it has to be cleaned from the engine oil by an oil separator. The blow-by pressure is controlled by the oil tank pressure switch. As soon as the pressure exceeds a certain level, the blow-by valve opens. This valve prevents engine oil from flooding the intake system in case of a rollover situation. Inside the oil separator housing, gravity separates the air from the oil. The oil flows back to the suction pump, and the air escapes through a tube in the top of the oil separator.